The parties in Northern Ireland from across the political spectrum have given the Windsor Framework, as it's being described, a cautious welcome. There's an acknowledgement that significant progress has been made between the EU and the UK. However, everybody wants to have a look at the fine details, so lawyers and customs experts and others will be pouring through hundreds of pages of documents to make sure that it satisfies the concerns of the political parties, but also the business community.
The UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has hailed his deal as a great success. I guess he would, wouldn't he? Making Northern Ireland, he says, a highly investable hub. How would it compare to the Northern Ireland pre-Brexit?
Well, I think it's fascinating to watch the Prime Minister in Northern Ireland today gushing about his deal with the EU. Of course, he's over here to champion the deal and to sell it to business and to promote it as the answer to all of the problems that there are with the post-Brexit trading arrangements. However, I think it will raise a few eyebrows because the basis of the protocol is that Northern Ireland is part of the United Kingdom along with Scotland, England and Wales. However, Scotland, England and Wales are on a separate island to Northern Ireland, so there's these specific arrangements that apply only to Northern Ireland, essentially keeping it in the EU single market for goods. Now, Scotland, for example, would like that dual market access that Northern Ireland has, and also the Prime Minister appears to be championing the benefits of the EU, even though his own country and his own party, and he in particular, backed leaving the EU. So it's a bit of a sort of contrast and a bit of a difficult square to circle, given that he's talking up how Northern Ireland's going to be the jewel in the UK's crown by having this unique dual market access that the rest of his country doesn't have.
The UK media has broadly been full of gushing enthusiasm in unison, seemingly, for the agreement. We both know, growing up in these islands, that Irish politics is not like that. What are the critics saying?
Yes, well, I think it's difficult and tedious story. It's a never-ending story, and it has been a real headache for the EU and the UK. There does seem to be an acceptance that certainly progress has been made, that the EU has had to move, that the UK has had to move, and I think in any negotiation it can't just be one-sided. Everybody can't win. However, I think once we get into the weeds, into the fine detail, there may be some issues that are picked apart then that could be problematic for the government. However, it does seem as if there's a big push on and a big sort of positive campaign to try to get the Unionists, the British Unionist Party in Northern Ireland, the DUP, to get back into the locally devolved government structures off the back of this deal. However, they're not going to be rushed into doing that. We know that in the coming months there are a few issues that could complicate matters. The anniversary of the Good Friday Agreement peace deal that's brought an end to the violent conflict in Northern Ireland 25 years ago is due to be marked, and also we have local elections in Northern Ireland, so whether or not the lead party of unionism in Northern Ireland wants to go back into government here before or after those elections remains to be seen. We really are just at the stage where everybody's trying to get to grips with what the New Deal means. Does it resolve the issues that unionists have around sovereignty, around the democratic deficit, and around their issues with the friction of trade that there is within the UK?